Hello. This is the Friday workout, but done on a Saturday. Unless you have a very specific reason to watch this, you probably shouldn't. It's going to be a waste of your time. I can only think of a handful of people, and actually less than a handful of people that really that probably should have an interest in this. So, like I said, watch it if you want, but I am not going to apologize for you wasting your time. So, warning now, nothing really amazing in here. Now the warm-up. Alright, those are L-shaped chin-ups. These are something I call glide downs, focusing on the eccentric portion. 4 of those. So it's a thing of 3 and 4. 2, 3, and then 4. Okay. That is that. Second half, or the last 3/5 of the warm-up starts here. It's going to be push-ups, air squats, and bends. Here we go. 13 push-ups. Every time I try to get kind of maximum movement. Full extensions, I guess, would be the best thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, now 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Weird thing about these, where you put your feet makes a difference. Straightening out your legs all the way makes a difference. More so where you put your feet. It's like going too narrow, feels a bit weird on your knees. One thing I try to do, keep my heels on the floor. I used to not be able to do that. Maybe I've gained a little flexibility. Maybe I've gained a little bit of muscle. It's easier to do now. Now here's something pathetic. After all that, not quite out of breath, but I'm certainly feeling it. And that's why working out's a good thing. Find your edges. And certainly happy to find mine. And the edges get further out. 6 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know those are less of a workout and more of a stretch, but it feels good to close out the warm up with that. Just feels like a nice way to do it. Diminishing difficulties and all that. It's like there's no reason to finish your warm up. And I think it does assist in blood flow. Do a little bit of stretching before this, but the warm-up's really where I get my warm-up from. All right, so Friday, I will just read from the script. All right, which is right there. There's the script. All right, let's get that right there. That looks like a good shot. All right, gonna read through all the different exercises. There are 5 on Fridays, but like I said, it's actually Saturday because I slept for 11 hours last night. Well, actually 13 total. Last night was an 11-hour deal, and then a 2-hour nap, and then a movie, I got home from work and I thought, hey, I can do a workout and then be ready for the movie. Not so much. 2 hours sleep and then movie. Hanging out with my dad was pretty awesome. Grabbed some grub, went home. I think I played a video game, and then sleep. Glorious sleep. I gotta ask myself, am I playing video games too much? I don't want to do the thing where if I'm addicted to something, I take 2 weeks off, because I've done that before with video games, and there are, I don't know, 3 I play that reward you for logging in every day, but technically logging in isn't playing, so maybe if I take 2 weeks off, all I do is log in, and I make sure it's less than 10 minutes, set my timer up, less than 10 minutes, and during that 10 minutes walk around, do a couple things. A lot of it is just loading. There's one game in particular, I think they kind of cover up just how slow it loads up, because it has something like 5 loading screens, 2 of which you actually have to press a button to go to the next loading screen. Kind of annoying. But I see the psychological advantage in that, because it makes you think movement, things are progressing. If you just see a blank screen and no progress bar, you're more likely to get upset. So back to the philosophy is, generally it's better to know than not know. Information, being kept in the loop, all that kind of stuff. Okay, running through the 4 of these. By the way, I editorialize way too much in these workouts. I'm thinking maybe less editorialism. Maybe I'll bounce back and forth. Today I thought I would just burn through it, but I realize I don't want to get to my next task, to be perfectly honest with you. And yeah, the working out's better than my next task, so a little bit of procrastination on that one, thus the talking. All right, for real this time, 4 exercises. Incline press, cable chest machine, which is analogous to a flat bench press, cable push downs, which is really hard to describe. It's both a back and a tricep exercise. It's all depending upon how much you bend your elbows. It's 100% back and really difficult if you don't bend your elbows at all. But I do bend my elbows because I do want that tricep benefit out of it. So it's a little bit of a combo platter, but like most things, you lose some of the benefit of one for the other. You can make it 100% tricep exercise, and I've done it that way. I like putting them both together and just like this wishy-washy, homogenizing, changes every single repetition, not only every single set, but every single repetition it changes a little bit. I think that feels good to my body. Might be a bad idea. So all these workouts, like I said, working with the hypothesis, generally trying to stay on the straight and narrow for a lot of things. Fourth one is going to be hammer curl. Not needed on the bench, so it's just a normal hammer curl. Next one after that is bent over flies. Always has a special thing in my head, because that would be the one exercise where my little girl used to come up and try to get my attention because I was so near the floor. Also when I was doing like planks and stuff back in the day. If I did a plank, it would just be low bridge all day for her and just be swining underneath me. So I don't have any plank exercises that I do anymore. But yeah, it's kind of funny holding a plank for 5 minutes and see how many times your cat can go underneath you. Yeah, she used to love that. Happy times. Thank goodness. Back to thankfulness. Thank goodness I had her as long as I did. Okay, but such is life. This is the way it works. I am firmly trying to cheat code my way out of too much grief by trying to hop on the acceptance button a little too fast. Last exercise, bent over flies. That's what we just did the remembrance about before my head got a little cleared with emotionality. That's enough emotionality, young man. Okay. All right, so 2 hypotheses besides this workout. A very consistent workout, only we'll run through the hypothesis. I'm not going to explain too much detail, but I'll go for, let's see if I can do it in 90 seconds or less. Okay, 3 hypotheses. Number 1, consistency is more powerful than intensity. By doing a consistent workout 3 days a week and doing that as your only strength workouts, the only ones you're really pushing your strength, will yield results within 2 years. Seems like a safe hypothesis. Another hypothesis, maybe a 4th hypothesis on that, the video part, accountability. Accountability leads to more consistency. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. They all kind of fit together like that. Hypothesis number 2, we won't go into diet and stuff like that, but there's some stuff going on there. But specifically within the workout, hypothesis number 2 is breathing. Breathing and recovery. Now there's 2 levels of recovery, long-term and short-term recovery. For me, long-term is skipping a day between strength workouts at least. So you got your Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Even if I do it on like a Saturday, like it is today, because Friday was a little bit too busy and I was a little too sleepy, I still got Monday on my next one. So there's that hypothesis. At least 1 day of healing, at least 24 hours of healing in between, that's the long-term rest. Short-term rest in between sets is 90 seconds of breathing exercises, some deep breaths, nothing really too specific, nothing too fancy. You're not going halfway, you're not doing speed things. All I'm doing is I try to do basically a version of what I call I breathing, like the letter I, like because there's 2 flat parts on a proper letter I. Darn. 4 hypotheses in 90 seconds, not accomplished. My communication needs to get a lot better. Okay, finishing up the thing. The breathing, which is like box breathing, it's the same thing. I just think of the letter I, but if you want, think the box, that makes total sense too. Except this is a modified version of box breathing. You're not really counting the time, you're just counting what breaths, and I'll do about 7 breaths. I'll count on my fingers so I don't have to actively engage my mind. And I can really focus on the breaths. Take it in, hold for a little bit, breathe it out, hold for a little bit. Go as slow or as fast on the intake and the exhale, the inhale and the exhale. And on the holds, hold for whatever you feel like. A couple heartbeats. It's actually kind of fun to count the heartbeats because your beating pattern, maybe not the pattern so much, but the heart rate seems to change a little bit. Although I'm not expert on that. Still, that could be a whole other hypothesis that we won't venture into. And I believe there was a 3rd one I was going to talk about. So we got strength workouts Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Rest periods, breathing. Oh, the 3rd hypothesis, blood flow. I think there's a thing where in triage it's airway, breathing, circulation, 3 things you check for instantly. Well, circulation, blood flow. I think there's a healing factor in blood flow. That's my pet hypothesis. So how do we stimulate blood flow? As of last week, I started the JDS system, which is jump rope dermal stimulation, which means you take this jump rope that I have. It's not actual rope because rope would probably not work. It's plastic. It's super cheap to buy. Actually works pretty well as a jump rope. If I was better at jump roping, it'd be way more fun. I start going real fast and I slam it in between my toes and I hit other things. I have set myself up not to have a really big room space for jump roping. Although I should eventually, back to the word should, clear out a big space for jump roping, but I don't jump rope every day. Although there's something fun about it. And the one space that is pretty clear, there's a fan that's high up that I do not want to mess with. All right, so all that, yeah, jump rope dermal stimulation. The main point of that, which I kind of walked really far around, is you actually hit yourself with it. And, hitting yourself, that's some masochism. Well, working out to a certain extent is masochism too. You definitely feel it. Sometimes the feelings I feel when I work out are not good feelings, physical feelings. We won't even go into the emotional stuff. But physically, sometimes it does not feel good to work out. But it doesn't feel good to also slap yourself. So like the slap, and there's a different thing. There's like the hard, like blunt force trauma type feeling. Then there's like the slap, which is the hit and the sting. And almost like the difference would be hit and hold down versus pull back. And on that pullback, there's like this reverberation or something's going on where it causes that sting. What I am after is the goal of that sting. The plastic jump rope has a lot of sting on it. And the good thing about that is it seems like it's haven't broke the skin yet. If it breaks the skin, it's probably going to be a nice little sharp break, heal real quick, no big deal. I'm not into having wounds bleed through my shirts or anything like that. But that all being said, the sharp sting is what you want. Sharp sting, here's where the hypothesis part comes in. Causes blood flow to go to the surface of the skin. What does the blood have to do? Some of it, not all of it. But to get a lot of blood to a certain place, you take all these pathways and all these veins, arteries, whatnot, all these tubes. And to get there, like streets, you might go there by the interstate, you might go there by some side streets, you might go through like the main highway that's not the interstate, and you go through all these things to get all the blood to the zone. I think what that does, hypothesis time, not an expert, causes healing and good things to happen within the muscle. When you work out, there's a buildup of lactic acid. Okay, let's get rid of some of the lactic acid. So the way I understand it, and this could be totally wrong, 2 things that cause muscle soreness while you're working out: buildup of lactic acid and also the breaking of the bonds. I think there's something, I'm not sure of the name, again, inexpert, actin and myosin. So imagine these things running together, these like straws, 2 straws that are kind of carved in together. Muscles, the fibers themselves. There's this ratcheting action. But when you ratchet too hard, working out, you're causing injury. You're breaking these bonds, these little ratchets. Now, so lactic acid from using is the byproduct of the racketing action, or breaking the ratchets themselves, not breaking. Anyway, more and more I am saying things incorrectly, just like that statement. How can I get this out shortly? 2 types of soreness: lactic acid, breaking the actual muscle. Breaking the actual muscle, I believe, leads to more strength ability. Lactic acid tolerance might lead to more endurance ability. I know it's more complicated than that, and I don't want to use that as the complete hypothesis, but it's just a shortcut to things I'm uncertain about. So, blood flow. How does the blood flow help? Blood flow washes away the lactic acid, so we can focus more. So if you're feeling bad, you're reaching tolerance, you're feeling in a bad place, the blood flow takes away some of the bad feelings from the lactic acid buildup. So it allows you to go a little bit further, pump a little bit more, maybe even the blood flow is bringing nutrients to the muscles, probably not, to allow you to go that extra mile. The big thing is blood flow, washing out some of that lactic acid, and helping you go a little bit further so you can break it better to, break it worse to fix it better, which is the definition of workout. Last week I did not get good sleep. I should have gotten better sleep, but made up for it last night, obviously. 11 hours plus a 2-hour nap. Total in that 24-hour period, 13 hours. Wow. Anyhow, so that all being said, I could just imagine if I was playing music like 5 nights a week, or doing comedy 5 nights a week, or doing things that cause me to go outside the house and not be in 100% of control of my schedule, I might have to sacrifice on some of the workout and stuff, and that's not good. And some of the writing and some of the other stuff I'm doing, that various projects and skill building and blah, 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 blah. Done. Let's work out. Breathing, then jump rope dermal stimulation. First, the breathing. Let's do a time check on this. My intro should not have been, whoa, my goodness. I apologize for anybody watching this. I speak too much, but good news, most of this is to myself. And a lot of this is note taking on myself, and some of it is if some of these hypotheses are kind of working, I'm practicing communicating them. That's another skill I'm working on, communication. Gotta get better with communication. Anyway, 7 breaths, and since this exercise is a lot of upper chest, there's going to be a lot of dermal stimulation from the jump rope, upper chest. Maybe I should even shave the upper chest just because that little bit of barrier, it's a little bit of padding. So now I guess I have a reason to invest in a new mechanical razor type thing. And yeah, but back to notes to self. What possibly gets these hypotheses better? Obviously, having a group, a control group and an experimental group that's more than one was the fun phrase that a lot of people use, the N of 1 for anecdotal experimentation. There's another word besides anecdotal I really want to use. I think it starts with an E, and it's something E, experimentation. Not worrying about that. Let's breathe. Gonna shoot for that area pretty much. There's the length. Not much, doesn't take much with this thing. All we're after is just blood flow rising up, blood to the skin. Also gonna try to go a little bit higher with that. Get those areas, maybe get a little bit central chest right there, off the side. Tickly underarm area a little bit. That connection tissue between in your chest to your arms, that's gonna be, yeah, let's really try to get that. That seems like a good place to go. I got a feeling, and I'm getting that kind of feeling of numbness after the sharpness. So we're going into numb zone right now. Probably a good idea to stop that when you start going numb. You might go a little too hard. All right, same thing over here. Yeah, I'm gonna do the exact same pattern pretty much. Gonna go with the focus on the main part of the chest right there, easy to hit, till I feel my aim's getting better. Yeah, not a lot. You don't have to hit it hard. I mean, just that little thing, that gives a little sting. So a lot of little stings. You know, the army of fire ants on my chest, whatever. That probably hurts worse than this. This has no chemical byproduct. Nothing is actually going inside my body, causing weirdness to happen. I remember one time I was on a mangrove island and I had to go to the bathroom. Bad, oh horrible. I think I turned that island into toxic waste stuff dump, because what came out of me, I was sitting on a branch, getting my butt over the side of the branch, and what came out of me was mustard yellow in color and not good. Anyway, so after turning that island into a toxic waste dump, I was so much into the stomach pains and all that, I tried holding it too long on a boat. Anyway, won't go into the story, but I had to drop trout and I had these jeans on and dropped all the way. And mangrove islands have a lot of mosquitoes, or at least this one did. Whew. I didn't even worry about, like, my legs were just covered in mosquitoes. Like, some parts it was hard to see the skin. There was a lot of mosquitoes. Anyhow, after the bout of West Nile, no, I didn't get West Nile from that, thank goodness. Or malaria or any of that kind of stuff. Although I should have gotten some quinine in my system afterwards. I didn't, but, you know, whatever. and I wouldn't have known beforehand to do it. So anyway, crux of the story is this. When I put my pants on, walking back towards the boat, oh my goodness, my legs had the most amazing feeling of being on fire. And it vacillated between pain, and then it would go kind of this weird buzz, like feeling almost like when your foot's asleep, but multiply that times maybe 11, and take out the numb feeling. It's like that. And then it graduated from that kind of pain. I kept moving. Fortunately, I was getting myself wet with salt water, just get my body consumed in salt water. Then the next level of that was that buzzing, like the pain went away. That buzzing was still there, that kind of numbness buzzing, and it turned into this just bizarre numbness. It felt like my legs were made out of bubble wrap or something. It was bizarre. But who knows how many mosquitoes I fed that day. They came in for the buffet. I walked out of there at least 8 pounds lighter. And not just from excrement. I think I lost a good bit of blood too. They don't take much, but you put 1,000 of them there, they'll take a good bit. All right. The actual workout. 2 weeks ago, I failed on sets 2 and 3. I think I got through set 1 without too much of an issue. We'll find out today. That's a lot of weight. Well, not for some people, but for me, well, I'm not gonna, I could lie and say I'm not intimidated. I am intimidated. But I've done it before. A little stretch, got some of the blood flow. All right, I got some advantages. Let's do this before the blood flow goes away. Oh, wow. All right. Oh. All right. By the way, this is a no grunting zone. That was a growl, not a grunt. Or that was just me clearing my throat. 1. Little wobbly. Let's push this thing. 2. All business. 3. 4. Then again, not a grunt, more of a growl. 5. 6. I think I've reached some of my edges. Oh. I do not know if that. I'm gonna speak in tongues, please. I do not know if I'm going to increase the weight on that anytime soon. That is a trial. Good news is next set, I do more, but I do less. More repetitions, less weight. Not by much. But that not by much sometimes makes all the difference. Let's say you're throwing up like 50 pounds, and then you throw up like 40 pounds. If you're near your edges, that makes all the difference. And no, those aren't my numbers. My numbers, I'm gonna keep to myself, because if you're following along with me, I don't want you to feel bad or good or whatever. I just want you to be focusing on your numbers. Because if you're blowing me away, if I say 100 pounds, and you're like, I'm doing 130s. This doesn't go up to 100 pounds, by the way. Close, but not really. Anyway, if you're doing 130 and you're feeling that superiority complex, then you might not be exercising your full potential. As long as you're feeling superior, you're feeling like you're on top of the heap, you might not see any reason to push yourself further. But if you're competing against yourself and yourself only, You lose the complacency of superiority, but you also lose the discouragement of not being able to live up to some numbers. In this game, hopefully, of life, not that I necessarily believe life is a game, but I think it's part of subjective reality. There's an advantage to taking certain aspects of life not so seriously, and other aspects of life to be approached as a game. It just seems it makes life better in some ways. Anyhow, choosing the perspectives that you're going to use on life is a pretty interesting tool. Making the decision that I'm going to treat this like a game, take some of the seriousness out of it and some of the sting out of it. Anyhow, so what I was trying to say with that long diatribe is there's a reason I'm not announcing my numbers. Not because I'm embarrassed. Hey, there's always going to be someone above you. There's always going to be someone below you. I'm really not into competing with anybody but myself anyway. So even if I'm way above somebody else's numbers, I'm going to do the best to make it not matter to me. And even if I'm way below somebody else's numbers, I'm going to do my best to not let it matter to me, or not make it matter to me, or whatever. So yeah, the numbers are of no service to you. The thing itself is of service to you. The actions, the hypothesis, if you dive into it a little bit, hey, maybe there's something there, maybe it clicks with you. Doing a workout by hypothesis and really kind of clicks with me, but the thing that was one of my missing pieces that I was too blind to see before it was pointed out to me is accountability, thus this. Also, I guess I miss conversating with people and good conversations and walking around. And sometimes I just randomly call people that are friends or were friends and whatnot. That I just want to have a 7-minute conversation. Like, it's not even part of my schedule, but if I do something really, really quick and have like an extra 5 minutes in the schedule, I'll push it and try to have like a 7-minute conversation. The good news is a lot of people only want to have 7-minute conversations with me at most, so that works out pretty good. So yeah, I'm a fan of the phone. It's nice for that. I'll leave a happy voicemail saying, hey, somebody gives a hoot about you. But I'm also guessing that a lot of people get that too. I would like to believe I'm throwing that out there, especially to people that don't get a lot of that, but who knows? Maybe everybody gets a lot of that. All right. So the next set is going to be a set of 8. I've dialed in for that. We're going to do 90 seconds of breathing here, just because. Okay. That was good. Less than 90 seconds just on the breathing. That time I was doing in nose, out nose. Seems a bit slower that way. I wasn't focusing on the hold so much. I was really enjoying the process of the inhale and the exhale. I was also enjoying just the thoughts that were running through my head. The fact that I have the freedom to say words like these and ideations. Also the fact that I'm introducing a new variable into this equation, which is the JDS, jump rope dermal stimulation. Maybe a bad thing. Also, it's kind of like the breath is a calming factor. The JDS is an excitement factor. So maybe they wash each other out. That might be bad. If I think that is the case, I'm not going to change it now. I'm not going to change variables too quick. But if that is the case, I might switch out. Some workouts might be breathing. Some workouts might be JDS. Or in between exercises, there might be a different thing. Maybe I'll do something like my first exercise. The first set of any exercise has JDS. The rest of the sets have a breathing aspect of the break in between. There's a lot of ways to play with these variables. Right now, and for the foreseeable future, it's going to be a little bit longer of a workout. Obviously, the longest thing in this workout is me speaking and organizing my thoughts, verbalizing to think. But the more important thing here is it's going to increase the time of my workouts if I do a breathing between every set and a JDS between every set. Oh, by the way, legs, what I think I'll do is I'll just hit harder with the legs. I won't have to take my pants off. Don't worry, no intention of ever taking my pants off in any of these videos. I just think like, hey, there's padding there, and as far in the form of clothing. I tried a little bit last week, and I wasn't getting the snap. I think if I hit hard enough, I'll get the snap even through the clothing, and I really don't think I'll be tearing clothing, so don't want to screw up the shorts or anything. All right, let's get a little bit of this. Not going crazy with it. Certain areas of my body seem to feel it a little bit less, so turning it up on that connective tissue. See how that feels. All right, back to it. Why do I think I have horribly bad breath right now? Maybe it's because I haven't really rinsed my mouth so far. All right, enough jawing. Either this will get done or it won't. Going for a set of 8. Next set will be a set of 10 with less weight. And hopefully less weighting. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hey, we got through it. I'm gonna try to put the right weight away first, and then the left weight. All right. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Maybe the JDS helped. Maybe the breathing helped. Not bad. Didn't have to go crazy with the jump rope dermal stimulation. Didn't have to go crazy with the breathing. Do feel like I'm gonna fall over a little bit. That's why on Sprockets, we hydrate. This is the time on Sprockets when we dance. Thank you for showing me old Saturday Night Live videos like that. Why is that so funny to me? Maybe because the guy seemed all uptight, and then like at the end of the thing, this is the time on Sprockets when we dance. I have no other reference to it. I don't know what they're making fun of, other than it's kind of German, maybe German techno, I don't know. I don't know much about German techno, so who knows? It transcends what it was referencing right into the realm of funny. Okay. Count with me if you like. JDS. All right. I'm gonna, just for the hell of it, I'm gonna do really two, what I consider high quality slow motion lunges. For some reason, I wanna do 2 high quality slow motion lunges every day. The kind of slow motion lunges where you actually just barely tap your feet or tap your knee to the ground. And then stretch out my knees again like by doing this, which makes me, hopefully I'm in frame for this. Let's give this a whirl. I'm gonna go with actually connective tissue last. I'm gonna go kind of on top. Definitely feeling like right where I'm feeling some of the ache of the muscle, which is right there. There we go, that was a good one. All right. All I need is 1 or 2 good ones on the spot. Then, yeah, slam your armpit. It's really about the connective area between the armpit and the chest in front. That kind of like swath of muscle that you can pinch, that right there. That's what I'm trying to get. Kind of both sides of that thing. It's not really. There we go. Yeah, get at least one. There we go. Have to get at least one good one. As soon as I said that, concentrated on it. Let's go for just chest. Get a little bit on that shoulder. Shoulder on the right side doesn't need it as much. Definitely less soreness there than the left side. I think there was 1 or 2 right off the first set where it got wonky. All right. Oh, there we go. I'm getting right, in the area. Okay, whew. I'm sure if I look in the mirror, I'll get a little redness. I'm kind of wondering. I'm definitely, I can just feel no wetness other than sweat. We're in a good place. I'm not worried about this thing opening up my skin. It's, you know, it's very rounded, no real sharp edges there. Nothing, it's thick enough. Thin enough to sting, thick enough not to open up the skin, which is about right. Okay, we're working. Back on the clock. The foreman says I better double check because safety first. All right, the double check is done. We're ready to get good things done with a set of 10. I'm gonna lift left side first this time. The closer they are to my knees, when I use my legs to lift them up, the better. Yeah, I know, it's a weird process. Like, I take them off the rack, and then I put them on my knees, or near my knees, on my legs, and then I use my legs to lift them up. That's really because I don't want to waste muscle power getting into that position. I want to push all my muscle power into the actual doing of the exercise, not in the getting ready for the exercise. Ideally, if I had a friend, I would have my friend pick up one weight at a time, or two friends. If I had two friends and we were all into this, we'd probably be switching off, and while one's doing breathing exercises, the other one's assisting the other one, and then anyway, I don't know. It's not going to happen, so I'm not going to worry about it. But anyway, I was going somewhere with this. Like, I would have each friend lift one dumbbell, or one very strong friend lift both dumbbells, and put them into my hands when I was in the incline press position. Fortunately for the other exercises, that's not necessary. Like I said, in this exercise, 2 are done by machine. 2 are done by me, but assisted by machine. You get where I'm going with this. All right, enough talking, more doing. The foreman's yelling at me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a little squirrely on that one. 7, a little better. 8, 9, we can do this. Or can we? Gee whiz. Really reaching threshold with these. Yeah. I hope the rest of this day's exercises are way easier than this. Fortunately, I get to talk a lot between repetitions, and that, plus blood flow, plus breathing, gives me some good break time to, I don't know, get good on the restart. In theory, you need 90 seconds. That's why I was all hung up on the 90-second thing. But let's get these off my legs before my legs fall asleep. But I know I'm doing more than 5 minutes break sometimes, and supposedly after 5 minutes you're losing part of your adrenaline spike or pump or whatever. I don't think so, but there could be something to that. Let's stretch our necks out. Good neck stretch. Got a feeling I built up a lot of tension in my neck right there. Oh, there it is. Just doing that stretch tweaked my neck. Let's do it super slow this time. One more time to the right. Let's do a few to the left. Close your eyes. Squeeze them shut. All right. This is way more than intended. New record, what is that, 50 minutes? And we're through the first exercise. But in all fairness, that was a doozy, and I'm not going to lie. Feeling like this back in years ago, I would have called it. I would have been like, oh man, that was enough of a pump. But then I was also working out every day. And so there might be something to this, especially thank you for the accountability. I feel like those, what they talk about, like those Russian guys that just like hang out at the gym all day. They do a set, then they talk and hang out, and then they do a set, and they hang out, talk, and hang out. And supposedly that's a very Russian attitude with like jiu-jitsu. And I've met dudes at the gym that just seem to kind of hang out all there, like all day. You see them all the, like, and they're just like, yeah, they'll go do a set or two, and then they'll talk, hang out with people, be social. And now I kind of get it. It's kind of fun. This is the first time I've ever been like, I was never like all business. Like I was never 100% all business. Like I'd say hi to people and stuff, but like, man, definitely like working at home better. But now I get the best benefit. I get the socialize with my invisible friends, and never get into arguments about stuff, and never talk their ear off, because nobody needs to be bored or watch this. There is a low bar, the lowest bar of entertainment value in this. Like I said, mostly this is for me practicing communication skills while using the accountability of working out. All right, exercise number 2 is cable chest machine. Let's do this. The cable chest machine. We are on our way. There's no reason to quit. There's no reason to. You got this. You have nothing really scheduled for the next few hours. An hour or two from now, you got something scheduled. But hey, you want to rest and relax beforehand. Oh, goodness. All right. All right, I think that's good right there. Laziness wins. I did not bring the jump rope or the timer. I probably should not be lazy and go get at least the jump rope. Yeah, I will. Because that's more important than the timer. The timer, I can breathe without the timer. But the jump rope dermal stimulation has jump rope in the name. And just the slaps, not as good as the jump rope. I will never own a huge house. Not because I don't want to. I would love to. But wouldn't it be cool doing this video and just have like this ridiculous house where like you walk 100 yards to like the next area. Like, okay, in this area we're gonna do this exercise. In this area we're gonna do this exercise. I don't know why I think that's cool. Of course, I think it would be cool to like have a hidden bunker in the jungle that was 100% self-sufficient, and not have like another soul near and a hidden helipad and all that kind of stuff. It's like 1,000 degrees outside and it's wet and it's jungle, and you get inside there and it's like this cold and dry environment. It's like, wow, you built this out of freezers. And like inside, different rooms have different like environments. So you could have like 15, 16 different hot tubs. One's like an ice bath and one's in another room that's like, you know, will just about melt your flesh off. I say hot tubs, but tubs. Cold tub, hot tub, varying degrees. 13 of them, 18 of them, 20 of them, different rooms, set to different temperatures. have a huge pool, but also have it be one of those wake pools. Not wake pools. Oh, I mean, hey, if I'm going multi-billionaire, underground complex with a surf pool, go surfing or skimboarding or whatever you want. Actually set it up so it's like skimboarding where you get the jumps on the waves. Oh, that would be so sweet. Run out, jump on your skimboard, get a good wave where you can just launch yourself, tighten up and do as many flips as you can until you hit the water. Yep. Why not pay $1 billion for something that if you just had a little bit of patience you can get for free? Just go to the beach when there's a storm in the Pacific. Okay, not for free. I'm not moving to California for that. All right. Let's see here. Okay, a little bit on the chest, not much. That one was a wraparound. All right. Then breathing exercises. Then that. I don't think I have my weight set up right, but that's okay. Well, you want some too? Ding. There you go, buddy. You ready to help me work out? Yeah, you are. You're such a good weight. I know. Now I'm talking to my machines like like I used to talk to my cat. Oh, goodness. Feeling it. Alright, that looks like the proper place. Seems a little bit high in the weight, but hey, I have every indication that I've done this before. Oh, that feels good. Oh yeah, breathing exercise. Four, 5, 6, 7. Only need one more of these. 8. Yeah, it's 2 sets. Set of 8, set of 10. Next exercise, same thing. Set of 8, set of 10. Just the weight a little bit. Time to get in the swing of things. You get to that point where you realize there's no point, like, ow, 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 because you're wanting to internalize it. You say ow every time, it externalizes, it gets rid of that, like, little psychological sting, so it's not as effective. But if you want to diminish the pain, yeah, you know, yelling expletives and ow and all that kind of stuff lets you in that realm where you can handle more. But that's not the goal. The goal is charge up, energize. charge up, energize. Expel that energy when it is proper. Not only am I working out, but I'm doing a tiny bit of heat conditioning. A little toasty. This is a set of 10. 2, thumbs over. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh yeah, yeah. There was some difficulty there. I'm doing breathing exercise right now, man. Before we go into the next bit. Sometimes you have to mentally hold on to your conscience or consciousness. That's an interesting trick. Oh. All right. Oh. Yeah, going back, really hitting the back really well. The wraparound is definitely something that's good. You know what the best thing about this is? The misery of being in a sweat box kind of goes away. You get the sharp pain of the whip, not the whip, the jump rope. You get the sharp pain of the jump rope, dermal stimulation of it. All right, let's cool it out there. We got two sides to the story. Some of the back hits are just really doing a number. I guess my back's pretty sensitive. Oh, like that? Shouldn't have been like, oh. There we go. A little bit closer at the edge. A little bit of speed there. Yeah, there we go. Get that tricep. There's the numbness I want. All right. Like I said, this is kind of a combo exercise. Be a set of 8, set of 10. Gonna put it at the correct amount of weight, which is a lot less. All right. All right, so I grab it almost in the middle, but not quite. Eventually I will get a different thing to grab hold of this with. Be a rope type situation. And all it is just, push downs, like I'm pushing it, physically pushing it, and then getting my elbows to that spot and turning, cranking out the elbows. Not going completely straight arm there, a little bit of give. 3, less talking, more doing. 4, 5, 6, 7. Here comes 8. 8 was great. That was exactly what the Orm ordered on that one. The script was awesome. Next will be a set of 10. I'm gonna sit down and do some breathing exercises. I'm not gonna sit down, I'm just gonna lean forward and hopefully not fall. Now is the time on the sprockets when we dance. When you get it right, you get it right. Oh, don't forget the back. One of the other byproducts of this is I was feeling all sorts of levels of stiff after 11 hours of sleep. But, whoo! A couple things I'm doing in my sleep. I basically, in order to not be a wreck in the morning, I have to, or after done sleeping, I basically have to turn myself over every 2 hours. Otherwise, real sore. Sometimes I go a little bit beyond that, depending upon the situation. But, whew. And then that also lends itself to a couple exercises I've been doing, trying to get what is that called? Lucent? No. Whatever. Dreaming where you know you're in a dream. Can't think right now. Obviously. A little less of the thought process, a little bit less blood going to the head. There's a joke there. I'm too dumb to figure it out right now. Three. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me free. Let me back in. Because it's time for hammer curls. That's why. Not because I'm turning into a sweaty mess. No, it's because I want to do hammer curls. Hopefully that was less than 20 minutes in here. I can't even tell. Yeah. All right. Try to get not too much sweat on my notebook or on the camera or any of that stuff. Okay, we're back. We're back. All right. Seems like a good spot. Hopefully. What the hell? Oh, I see what happens. There we go. Okay. This is bicep only, so the JDS is going to be pretty simple. Whew. What did I do to deserve this? Something good, I hope. I've been a good little boy. Now, let's get some JDS. All right, so in this exercise, I have, last week, I upped the first set in weight. So as the way the script goes, I upped the second set this week. So I'm always going up unless I'm failing a lot. And I'm thinking after 3 failures, I might scale down the weight. But I got myself kind of dialed in. So I know what I can do, and I'm all about, well, what was that term that all those muscle heads use? I'm all about those gains. Well, yeah. Personal best, I don't know, I'm not worried about that. But I do like the idea of consistently getting better. I mean, this is all about consistency. So, you know, eliminating some of the variability, like, oh, I can't do that much this week. Oh, I can do a lot. Nah. It is what it is, and it shall be what it shall be. And now, it shall be hammer curls. After a breathing exercise. After I set up the weight at the proper weight. Okay, so later it shall be. Technically. Where is it? Really? Really? Thinking about creating an app for myself that I have like all these metrics. I'm going to draw pictures that associate with the metrics in a calendar, and it's all going to be about leveling up. And you can just look at any day on the calendar and see what you leveled up at, and you can dive into it and dive away from it. So it will have this big macro view of all these like buttons on the calendar. And the buttons, the more buttons on the calendar, the brighter the day will get. Everything has a certain value, and you're going to just start with like an arbitrary value of like 1. 1 is I barely increased to that. 0 is I didn't even do it. So the button won't show up. And then like 13, it'll be glowing and flashing and spinning and all sorts of 3D animation. Do some really cool backflips and stuff. The button just, and then like, so you'll see movement on the page and it'll be like, whoa, these are the ones that be really good at. And it'll just metric all the stuff out. And it'll be all the different ways you can divide your life. You can divide mind, body, soul. You can divide personal, familial, and financial. You can divide it all sorts of ways. And there'll be all these things, and they'll take a piece of all these different goals that you have that supposedly help towards other things. And then the goals will help towards other goals. So for example, let's say your memorizing skill helps towards anything that's in that mind zone to a certain extent. So your language skill might help your familial skill, because you're going to talk to your brother in Portugal and be like, hey, da 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 da, and you'll be able to speak decent Portuguese, at least for a sentence or two, anyway. So yeah, that's one of the many idea applications I have. Just kind of a life progress calendar. You can go through and see the years of it, and then even a macro view where you see like 100 life years. And so it's like, all right, this is you in your first century, and might be overly ambitious with that one. But speaking of overly ambitious, breath, JDS. just gonna do one on the. There we go. Wake up. Wake up. There we go. Just a little bit. Just a little bit in the face. Just a tiny bit. Ah, there we go. All right. Now that I wasn't working out my face, I didn't need blood flow to my face. I just need to wake up a little bit. This is all bicep. Maybe a little bit of shoulders. All right. I'm gonna try it like that. That's just too much. Too many threads. Just want the two. There we go. I'm gonna try it like this. See how that feels. Oh yeah, that's if I was accurate with it, that would be great. It's weird. Just gonna go for fast and accurate. So I got this loop hitting me and that loop hitting me. So I'm like doubling it up. Won't be able to recreate that. Go. Let's see. Oh, maybe I can recreate that. Because if I do it like that, that upper loop's hitting up here, that lower loop's hitting right here. I angle it right. Let's get a rag. All right. A lot of sweat, no blood. That's a win in my book. Gonna go for a set of 8. I'm feeling about out of gas at this point. There is truth. Ugh, a lot of momentum. 2, 3, 4. This is so stupid. 5. We're only going to 6. 6. I'll momentum it. 7. Oh, yeah. Yeah, failure. Oh, pure failure on that one. I'm gonna grab a lighter weight with best form. I'm gonna write down fail in my notebook. The JDS was not enough to get me over the hump. I think I did it last week. Probably used a lot of momentum last week too. How was it? Fail. Year. All right, I'm just gonna put 20s. I'm doing this last set with a lower weight. Just gonna pound it out. Going for a set of 10. To boost the feelings I have for it, I might go for 13 just to make myself feel good. No momentum, just doing it. Even near the end, I'm swaying. There's still a little bit of momentum on there. All right, this last set. This is bent over flies. Got a little bell in my house I call it the appreciation bell. A little bit of appreciation for aspects of my life that I really care about. There we go. There's some appreciation bell. That feels good. Appreciate the failure too. Maybe I should ring it again. All right. I don't know. I don't like the connotation of ringing a bell signifying failure. I do like the idea of appreciating failure if it's almost unavoidable. What am I talking about here? I don't even know. Oh. All right. All right, so that's in the frame. Okay. Set of 15, 4 sets of 5. Trying to get full extensions, always a thing. I'm going to throw a little bit of JDS at it. Definitely don't like the knots this thing is prone to get into. Let's make sure it's not coiled. Get the twists out of it. All right. So this is like the back of the shoulder, pretty much. So that's going to be some good hits right there. It's going to be easy. There we go. Keep hitting the side of my... There we go. Shorten it up. Not let it wrap around things so much. There we go. Oh, on the collarbone's nice. A little bit of blood flow. All right. The JDS. We're doing it. It's happening. The breathing. We're doing it. It's happening. The accountability workouts. We're doing it. It's happening. That feels good. Not the JDS. The JDS does not feel good. The sense of doing it, of moving forward, of progressing, that feels good. Another tool in my toolbox. If it helps, hey, maybe it's the right tool for somebody else that wasn't thinking about a tool like that. I remember when the word tool used to mean insult. I mean, a person is just someone that is being used by others. Something like that. I'm not even sure the people who used that insult used it well. I always thought it was kind of a dumb insult because you tool. It just didn't seem to carry a lot of weight. Oh, man. Gonna do a little bit of the breathing now. Remind me to sometime talk about how JDS after a set, pause, breathing exercise before a set. There's something to that. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Well, I know the next thing I'm going to actually increase the weight in. These. I'm feeling like I could do, this is the finishing set. I don't do the JDS. I don't really even do the breathing exercises for this. But I think I just want to do it in 3 sets. So instead of doing 5-5, 5-5, 4 more sets of 5, I'm going to do 2 sets of 10. If I'm a sick and twisted guy, which I've been accused of being, I certainly make sick and twisted jokes. My goodness. It's just so easy to go into that horrible place. I'm like, oh, I can't believe you said that. And therefore that nervousness causes laughter. But I don't necessarily want to go the easy route there. I'd rather fail and really try to get some good clean jokes. Good clean stuff. Not because I care about the clean. I mean, I don't. Dirty stuff doesn't offend me. But there's something about the challenge. And then there's something about being accessible to anybody and everybody. I really like. I don't like have to be very selective. Like, oh, I know if this type of person's in the crowd, I better not say this joke. This will probably hurt their feelings. And I would rather do a lot more good than bad. So more feelings in the good zone. Yeah, my goal is not to hurt people's feelings. The shock thing, yay, as long as the shock thing opens up a mind, that's great. But it doesn't always work like that. It's like foul language. Foul language, I don't care about it one way or the other. The less you use it, the more powerful it is. That's a fun principle. But the same thing with foul language is it instantly allows a person to dismiss you in your opinion. And, you know, it's like, oh, if that person talks like this. Sometimes an accent of some sort, like somebody has a very urban accent or a very country accent. It's weird, the extremes. Very country has an accent, very urban has an accent. So it's like the concentration of people equals an accent. Anyway, I think it's different factors than that, but that's kind of a fun way that I like to look at it. The concentration of people. So people basically sometimes discount people if they live in an area where there's too few people. And then sometimes they discount people based upon, they can hear from their accent that they live in an area that has too many people. So in other words, try to speak from the suburbs. I don't know. Definitely the way I talk, the vernacular I use, not a good thing. And the verbosity, not a good thing. Too many words, way too many words. The brevity of wit is what I aspire to. In other words, if I could say the words, the brevity of wit is what I aspire to, say stuff better. Okay, doing a set of 10. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, there's feeling. All right. My last one's going to be 13. I would love to build it up, and it's like, oh, it's going to be manic. It's going to be crazy. It's just 13. It's probably not going to be that difficult. It'll definitely be progressive. I think it'll help push my progression further. So it is what it needs to be. A little bit of a breath exercise here. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that is it. Do, 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 do. All right. Do, 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 do. That is the end of the exercises for today. Nice job. Maybe, maybe not. The proof will be in the results. I almost feel like talking a whole bunch more. There is one thing I reminded myself to talk about, the order of breathing exercise versus JDS. There's something special about 3-letter acronyms, by the way. Anyway, JDS. So, big fan of running through the JDS the right way. And I think the right way is after an exercise. Here's my feelings on this. Just got done with this set. Feeling a little low. JDS, exercise, or JDS, energize. All right, low, energize. Energize lifts up. It takes a little while for that blood flow to circulate. It's not like you hit and then like you get the numbness. You get the numbness a little bit later. But then why not turn that numbness into a good thing, a push forward thing. So the washing, the blood is washing out the muscle, things are happening. Good. A little bit, maybe a little bit of adrenaline. Probably not, it doesn't feel like it. Then the breathing exercise. And then like that's the cut. Like, okay, just did something, feeling a little bit lower. JDS, energize, exercise it up. Maybe I exercised it up a little bit too much or whatever, or let the JDS kind of simmer out. So it has to build up because it's automatically going to go. And then, while it's kind of going on that trail, you're doing your breathing exercises to maybe catch it at a point and stop it there. And then you'll be ready for that next exercise. So it's like, an exercise would look like this. In the beginning, breath before, do it, the during, you're doing the thing. And then afterwards, you're doing the JDS. Except the very first exercise. Because now that I got the JDS in my system, now that I've been bit by that bug, I definitely want to start out. So the very first exercise in the whole day is going to start out JDS, breathing, go. Or maybe something else, because I don't have that downward load. Well, actually I do, because of the warm-up. And the warm-up does not include breathing exercises and JDS. All right, stuff to think about there. The simple answer is just go JDS, breathing exercise, exercise itself, end that cycle. Think about a definitive ending with JDS. JDS ends everything, except for this. Then the very last exercise, the warm-up doesn't contain it. Yeah, the very last exercise barely contains breathing exercises. Anyway, so stuff to think about there. I have a notion that manipulating these variables may not affect anything at all. It just might be little things towards optimization, and because there's so many variables, there's no true zeroing in on optimization, just based upon other biological variables. So, you know, what would be optimization one day will be off the mark the next day. But then there's something to be said about habituation. Really doing the same order might equal efficiency. But there's things I like about this. One of my favorite things is verbalizing. And knowing that I can verbalize this stuff and look back at it later like, oh, what was I thinking at that time? What was running through my head? That's kind of stuff I'm pushing through now. Okay. That is enough talking. I think I'm pushing my limit as far as procrastination through workout. So there are things that should be done, responsibilities that should be attended to. On with it. Wow, that was cool. It stopped right before it would click. Later, it shall be.